Holy Week, mahal na araw to the Pilipino, the most sacred week in the Catholic missal. For it is during this week that the drama of salvation is reenacted. In their efforts to dramatize the central events of the Passion and Resurrection of Christ, the missionary friars introduced and infused colorful rituals and theatrical rubrics into the Semana Santa. So many rituals, pageantries, catechetical techniques were borrowed from Spain and Mexico in order to impress upon the native converts the important lessons of Christian salvation. The sights, sounds, and smell that whipped a frenzy of devotion, that stirred so much emotion of faith, are legacy from that age of the Baroque. By the rise of the Pueblo, when the restless and fleeing natives had settled peacefully under the sound of the bells, Catholicism had entrenched itself deeply in the native psyche. Years of patient evangelization had assimilated Catholic dogmas and doctrines into the indigenous culture. The result is an amazing blend of rituals and magic, of catechism and folk superstitions. These give Holy Week that particular blend of pomp and pageantry, of the rawness of a native faith and the extravagance of a feudal power. Rubric and ritual combine to touch the emotions of the faithful. Holy Week then and still now is the week most concentrated with moving rituals. And nowhere is this more evident than in the Philippines, where many barrios and towns still practice the Lenten rituals as they have been practiced since the coming of Christianity. Indeed, we Filipinos have been continually fascinated and entranced by the mysteries of that awesome faith. And the Lenten spectacle that unfolds year after year is a moving mixture of faith and folk belief. As soon as Holy Wednesday ushers in the Lenten rites, strains of the pabasa haunt the country air. A pabasa is a panata that is undertaken by an individual, a family, a confradia or kapatiran, a religious organization, or even a whole community. Invitations are spread around so that a great number can chant the verses on the Passion of Christ in as many tunes as possible. The chanting goes on for almost 24 hours, or until the entire Passion has been chanted. In the Tagalog provinces, the verses being chanted come from the Passion as written by the poet-priest Padre Mariano Pilapil. He was born in Bulacan, Bulacan in 1756. Pilapil later became known as the Cicero of the Tagalog language due to the eloquence of his poetry. In 1812, he published his best-known work, Pasyong Mahal ng Panginoong Hesukristo. The book was an expanded version of an earlier Pasyon written by another priest, this time from Lipa, Batangas, Padre Gaspar Aquino de Belen. Every chapter of the Pasyon is divided into two parts, the narration of the events and the aral. But it is the manner of the chant that intrigues modern ears used only to rock and jazz music. The melodies are definitely Asian in character. That they are ancient, going back to a time when the archipelago had not yet been reached by the Spanish conquistadores, there is no doubt. The plaintiveness, the almost unbroken chain of repetitive melodies, comes from the Asian concept of time. It is not broken into Western measurements. Rather, it is a continuum because nature to the Oriental is such, an unbroken cycle of seasons. Today, impatient young chanters sing the poetical lines in hurried tunes. But the old folks still use the old melodies. There is, for example, the popular Taguloy-loy. There is also so-called Tres Coidos.